The new Victory amplification Kraken Mark II was recently released, and they added some wonderful and amazing new features. So this version definitely is superior to the old one. Let's check it out today, and let's start with a rockin' demo through the Gain 2 channel. Check it out. Awesome. That was my ESP LTD Phoenix Arctic Metal with the Seymour Duncan distortion pickup in the bridge. Through the Gain 2 channel. Plenty of gain, very tight, articulate, gnarly, and aggressive sounding. Love it. So this amplifier definitely sounds very unique, as with all the Kraken amplifiers. Now, Victory Amplification, as with all the other versions of the Kraken, designed this amplifier together with Rabia Masad. And that's a guy that really knows tone really well. And they created something really cool and unique with the Kraken. And again, like I said in the intro, they really took the whole concept of the Kraken to the next level with these new tweaks and features. By the way, for all the tones in this video, the amplifier will be fed through my RedSeven Amplification Amp Central reactive load and through various OwnHammer impulse responses. For all the drums, I'm using ML Drums by ML Sound Lab, by the way. And these days for the cables, I'm using Klotz cables, which are excellent and high quality as well. So the Kraken VX Mark II, the Lunchbox version. I'm super happy and excited to have this in my studio here. And today's video is just going to be a lot of fun. We're really going to explore this amplifier and try it with a bunch of different guitars and tunings. Now I do have the Victory Super Kraken as well, the VX100, which is the 100 version of the first version of the Kraken. I have it up there in my rack. And that's also a very unique amplifier. It sounds massive, huge, crunchy, tight, and gnarly, but it's also quite versatile. And I did some videos with that amplifier on the channel as well, of course, which you can check out if you're interested. Now it's a really cool amplifier, but in my opinion, it does have some quirks. So when the Mark II was announced, I was really pleased with some of the updates that they added to this version. And I can honestly say that these new features really take this amplifier to the next level. So it's even better, even though the original Kraken already was great. Now, one of the quirks that I had with the original version was the lack of a presence control. And sometimes the old version was just a little bit too dark for my taste. But the new presence control completely eliminates that problem, so that's a huge upgrade for me. Now there's plenty of presence on tap, and they even added a voicing switch for the presence control, which is the presence shift control on the back, and that allows you to change the character of the presence control. So they really went all the way with that, and I love it. Now the VX100 Super Kraken is a quite heavy amplifier, 100 watts, big transformers. It's quite chunky. It's not huge in terms of the size, but it is heavy. And this Kraken Mark II is a simple 50 watt Lunchbox amplifier, so it's much more compact. But don't be mistaken, it's a very loud amplifier, and it's quite impressive how they sort of fit that level and sound in such a small package. Really cool. And this one is equipped with two 6L6 tubes in the power section, by the way. Now the Super Kraken has a clean mode, which is okay, but it's not my favorite sounding clean channel. But they also added a clean channel on this version, and I must say that I absolutely love the sound of this clean channel. It's wonderful, very nice and chimey and organic sounding and very dynamic as well. So let's just try that out right away with my ESP LTD EC1000T CTM in vintage gold satin with the Fishman Fluence Will Adler set on the neck pickup. And I'm also going to put my Walrus Audio Fundamentals reverb in the loop to try that out as well. Let's take a listen. Wow, that was nice. A really wonderful clean. So that's a huge improvement for me as well. And as you could hear, I had a little bit of breakup dialed in as well for the parts where I strummed a little bit harder. So you can also get some nice edge of breakup tones out of this channel when you crank the gain. Now the clean and gain 1 channels basically share the same gain pot over here. But they added a really cool new feature on this amplifier as well on the back, which is the gain 1 balance control. And you can use that to balance out the levels between the gain 1 mode and the clean mode. So that's a really handy feature, especially for playing live. In terms of the layout, this amplifier is pretty straightforward. As I said, the clean and gain 1 channels have the shared gain pot, and the entire amplifier has 1 shared EQ with bass, mid, and treble, and gain 2 has its own dedicated gain control over here. You can use this little switch over here to switch between the clean, gain 1 and gain 2 modes. And then we also have 2 master volume controls. Now there are 2 different modes that you can choose from, and you can switch between the 2 modes with a dedicated switch on the back here. And that's the master volume auto assign switch. And you can basically set it so that you can switch between the 2 master volume controls with the foot switch, or you can set it so that the gain 1 channel goes to the master 1 and the gain 2 channel goes to the master 2 automatically. So that's also a quite wonderful and useful feature that they added. And then of course we have the brand new presence control, which I love obviously, along with the presence shift switch on the back. I'll let you hear how that affects the tone later in this video. With the switch in, it basically makes the amp a bit more open, bright and sizzly sounding. And for this demo, so for all the clips in this video, I found that I preferred the default mode, so with the switch out. And then just as with the other version, we have the bass focus control on the back, which is basically a preset resonance or depth control. Leave it out for the thickest tone, which is what I prefer in general, and press it in for a bit more of a tight tone with less bottom end. Again, you'll hear that later in the video. And of course, with the standby switch over here, you can choose between a low and high wattage mode. The amp also has an effects loop, of course, and bias adjustment ports on the back, as well as various speaker outs. So again, it's a portable and small Lunchbox style amplifier, but with a lot of very useful features. Okay, now let's move over to the gain 1 channel, which is basically your sort of mid-gain crunch sound, kind of like a Marshall-y sound. So let's try that with my Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s with the Duncan JB pickup in the bridge for a nice sort of classic and mid-gain crunch. Let's take a listen. Nice! That's a very sweet crunch tone indeed. I thought that sounded wonderful. Now the Gain 1 channel is wonderful for that mid-gain crunch, obviously, but it doesn't really have enough gain on tap for high gain, unless you use some sort of a boost pedal, of course. But Gain 2 basically takes care of all the really high gain stuff. So let's move on to that channel right now, as you also heard in the intro. Now this channel supposedly is based on a PV5150 block letter amplifier, but in my opinion this amplifier really does its own thing. It's much more tight, focused, and aggressive and gnarly sounding than the 6505 or 5150 in my opinion. So it kind of sounds as if this one was modded to sound more tight and aggressive, basically. And that makes this amplifier really well suited for metal and extended range guitars. Now the sound is really unforgiving, as everything that you play really comes through, so your string noises and stuff like that will be a little bit more audible than some other types of amplifiers. Now let's go ahead and try this channel out with my ESP LTD EC1000T CTM in Violet Shadow with the Fishman RZK set on the bridge pickup on the passive voicing for a nice and chunky modern sound. Take a listen. Alright, that was great. Very thick and chunky, and quite different sounding than the Phoenix with the Duncan distortion in the intro. Very cool. Now let's start checking out some extended range guitars, and I want to try my 7-string baritone, the ESP LTD Phoenix-7 with the Fishman Fluence modern pickup in the bridge position on the passive voicing once again. And I'm going to use my Digitech Whammy 5 for some of the pitch shifting effects that you'll hear. Take a listen. Really cool. So this amplifier sounds really nice with lower tunings. So let's go even lower with my Ibanez M80M Meshuggah 8-string guitar with the Lundgren pickup tuned to F standard. Let's see how well this amplifier handles those super low 8-string notes. Check it out. Awesome, that sounded wonderful and ridiculous at the same time. But again, no boost pedal was used at all, so this amplifier is definitely tight enough for those super low tunings. So in my opinion, this amplifier is just so well voiced for those extended range guitars. Really cool. Now for this amplifier, I really want to try something special with my Schecter Damien 9-string guitar. It's a beast of a guitar, 30-inch scale, tuned to low C sharp, with the EMG 909 pickups in it. I really want to see how that guitar sounds through this little amplifier. Let's take a listen. Now that was awesome. I was expecting the Kraken Mark II to handle that guitar really well, and I'm pleased to say that I was right. And again, no pedals were used up front in this entire video, by the way, at all. Now I'm going to loop some riffs that I recorded with my Gibson Les Paul Custom, and I'm just going to try all the channels and tweak all the controls so you guys can hear how they react, including the presence, shift, and bass focus controls on the back. Take a listen. really nice. So maybe you heard this already, but on the gain 2 channel, because of how the amplifier is voiced and the amount of gain, the amplifier can get a little bit noisy, which is to be expected with an amplifier like this, to be honest. So using a noise gate for really high gain tones is recommended. I should also mention that this amplifier came with a very nice carrying case, which is a very nice touch. And they also added these really nice foot switches that you can use to control the amplifier. So that's really very much appreciated. So yeah, I'm really impressed by this amplifier. I like it a lot. The VX100 is still an amazing amplifier, but because of the new features, so the new presence control and the new clean channel, I do prefer the Mark II. I think it's more refined and it's just a wonderful amplifier. It's mean, it's crunchy, but the cleans are wonderful, so it's quite versatile. And yeah, it does a lot of things and it has a lot of punch for such a small package. So if you're looking for one of the Kraken amplifiers, I can highly recommend the Mark II. Well done, Victory Amplification, and thanks so much for sending this over to me. I really appreciate it. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like and subscribe down below, as that would really help the channel out. And also let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on this amplifier and the tones in this video. You can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram, by the way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers!